Good afternoon. This is Sulabh Aryal, Transportation Planning Manager at Plan RVA. This recording is the presentation for Agenda Item B7, Connect RVA 2045 update on the RRTPO Policy Board June 4th, 2020 meeting. As we all know, Connect RVA 2045 is the new brand name for the federally mandated long-range transportation planning process, or the plan for the Richmond region. The plan is the vision for next 20 years of transportation improvements in the Richmond region. This improvement is for multimodal transportation system, which includes highway, transit, bike and pedestrian facilities, as well as freight transportation. The plan also needs to include a constrained list of projects based on the available funding. This is the region's first performance-based plan, which means that LRTP will apply a systematic review of transportation system performances to define the region's investment priorities. The LRTP or the Connect RVA 2045 is spearheaded by an LRTP advisory committee. The scope of the work and the schedule, as well as establishment of the LRTP advisory committee, was approved by this board on October 2019. The LRTP advisory committee includes all TAC members, interested CTAC members. We have 5 members, as well as individuals from other agencies like Virginia Asian Chamber of Commerce, Bike Walk RVA, RVA Rapid Transit, etc. This graphics in this slide shows the LRTP process flow. As we can see in this graphics that we have 6 distinct phases in the plan. The first phase is the transportation needs assessment, in which we looked at the transportation system deficiencies for all modes of transportation, which include highway, transit, park and ride, active transportation, freight, passenger rail, and other modes as well. The product of this phase is an inventory list of the transportation deficiencies or issues or needs which needs to be addressed at the regional as well as the local level in the plan. The second phase of the plan is the strategic direction, in which we identify the vision statement for the region. We also identify goals and objectives for the plan. The third phase is the planning phase, in which we convert the deficiencies which were listed in phase 1 of the plan, which is the transportation needs assessment, into logical transportation projects. So the end product would be a universe of projects. The fourth phase is the programming phase, in which we'll have a look at the realistic funding options available to complete these transportation projects. We'll create a prioritization process in which the universe of projects would be ranked and prioritized. And then the final product of this phase would be a constrained list of projects for the LRTP. Since this is a performance-based plan, the final phase, the work phase, is the evaluation of the plan, in which we have to evaluate the public participation and outreach. We have to look at the regional performance measures. We have to do the environmental justice analysis, accessibility analysis, as well as air quality conformity, as well as interagency consultation. The final phase of the plan is adoption. This board will be asked for adoption around September of next year, 2021. Once the RRTPO Policy Board approves this document would be sent to FHWA, FTA for a joint approval in October of next year. Public engagement will be vital to the success of the Connect RVA 2045 plan. Throughout the entire planning process, RRTPO staff will be reaching out to the public through meetings, workshops, and surveys to receive input on each phase of the plan. Once we develop recommendations based on public input as well as LRTP Advisory Committee guidance, there would be a formal public review period of 15 days for the first 4 phases, and a 30-day public review period before the final approval of the plan. This slide lists the audience for the LRTP public engagement, and this comes directly from the federal code. The audience are citizens, representatives of public transportation employees, freight shippers, private providers of transportation, representatives of users of public transportation, representatives of users of pedestrian bike walkways as well as bicycle transportation facilities, representatives of elderly and individuals with disabilities, as well as providers of non-emergency transportation services receiving financial assistance other than Section 53 funds, which is public transportation, and as well as other interested parties. The plan also has to reach a specific population as guided in federal regulations. These include people with low income, minority population, as well as people with limited English proficiency. For the general promotion and awareness of the plan, RRTPO has established a dedicated website for the development of the plan. The website is www.ConnectRVA2045.org. The website would serve as the front door where information and updates on the plan and engagement opportunities can be found. Media coverages. Plan RVA has an existing list of regional media contacts and ad specs for various publications. All notices would be designed to reflect the look and feel for Connect RVA 2045. Outreach and community meetings. At least 65 groups, including local government and state agencies, were contacted initially for the meetings. Email notices. Plan RVA currently has an email list of 200 plus subscribers, and it's being added every day. So any information we sent out through these email notices as well. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn are the primary channels Plan RVA uses to promote meetings, surveys, and public comments period. Members of the advisory committee will also be encouraged to share posts on their personal and locality accounts. Finally, YouTube. All the meeting recordings are now posted on YouTube. Now coming back again to the LRTP process flow diagram, as we can see, the first phase, which is the transportation needs assessment, has been highlighted in the graphic. So I'm going to discuss about that phase. The first phase of the plan, transportation needs assessment, had 3 sub-tasks within it. The first task was the development of socioeconomic data for the base year 2017 and for the horizon year of the plan 2045. This was a long process which took 18 months for the data to be developed. The RRTPO Policy Board approved the data in September of last year. Once that data was approved, we analyzed the data and produced this document, which we are calling now 2045 Long Range Growth Forecast Analysis. I also discussed about this in my other presentation today. Both of these tasks have been completed by May of 2020. The second task, task 1.1, was the update of Richmond Tri-Cities travel demand model. The RTC model, as we call it, is an important tool which would be used throughout the LRTP planning process. It would be used to identify future capacity needs for regional highway and transit network, which is basically task 1.2, transportation needs assessment. It will also be used to measure system performance measures, project prioritization and scoring, accessibility analysis, as well as the parallel scenario planning process. It would be used to see the impact of different land use changes and different investment priorities. The major task within task 1 or the phase 1 is task 1.2, transportation needs assessment. Basically, the purpose of this task is to identify regional and local multimodal transportation issues based on congestion, safety issues, a lack of interconnectivity, operational problems, maintenance issues, inadequate roadway transit capacity, transit expansion, accessibility, as well as other issues including travel demand management, transportation system resiliency, and economic development. And based on all these issues, we established LRTP specific regional transportation needs. The transportation issue identification was mainly done through staff review of regional and local plans and studies, which included STAR studies, the IJRs and IMRs conducted by VDOT, the previous smart scale applications, I-95 corridor study, some of the older plans like the I-64, I-95 overlap study, the Route 288 360 study. We also looked at transit studies, including Transit Vision Phase 1 as well as Phase 2, and also looked at the GRTC Transit Development Plan. For active transportation, we looked at the Ashland to Petersburg study, regional bike ped study, which is ongoing. For passenger rail, we looked at the state railway plan. For the freight and intermodal mode, we looked at the Commerce Corridor study as well as the Richmond Marine Terminal I-95 study, which is still going on. And then finally, we also looked at the local comp plans and small area plan and transportation plans for localities and listed out issues based on those plans. The second thing, we did run the Richmond Tri-Cities travel demand model to look at the future highway and transit needs, capacity related needs. So based on the model run, we got areas identified which would be showing deficient in the future. The third thing is we were provided comments and additions by the LRTP advisory committee based on their local knowledge and things which we have missed, and we added them as well. Finally, we received a lot of public input from the public based on our community meetings as well as the interactive mapping application which we had provided in our website. The final draft of the Transportation Needs Inventory spreadsheet was sent to the LRTP Advisory Committee on April 1st. The spreadsheet has 3 tabs for 3 different types of issues. The first identified was the LRTP specific issues. The second issue was the VTrans issues. The VTrans is the state's long-range transportation plan, which is still ongoing. They have identified needs in our transportation network, so we listed out those in that tab. The third tab was about other issues like policy program issues. These issues can be resolved through specific new policy or program or funding mechanism at the local, regional, or state levels, but this would not these would not warrant a project in LRTP constraint plan. Things like transportation studies, which would not be included in the LRTP, as well as some of the issues which would be local in nature. For the public input, we opened the website around mid of February till and had at least 2 months of input time till April of 15th. We received a total of 135 public comments or issues based on the Wikimaps, which was the interactive mapping application we used in our website. We also got from one of our CTAC members a real estate agents transportation survey, which provided us very good information. And then based on some of the community meetings which we were able to conduct before the ongoing pandemic, we received some input from those meetings as well. Once we got the feedback from LRTP Advisory Committee on the needs inventory, which we had sent them on April 1st, as we added those comments in the issue inventory sheet, we also added the public input which we received, the 135 public input comments. Then after all these have been received, we compiled all these information and we opened up a formal public review period, which from May 5th to May 20th, a 15-day period. The total number of issues in this was 1,089 issues. And we posted the interactive map as well as the spreadsheet on our website. We received 11 comments on the website. Comments which were directly related to the issue inventory spreadsheet has been addressed. Other comments which are not directly related to the issue inventory but is related to the plan in its general nature would be addressed during the course of the plan. This spreadsheet, once we received the public comment, was presented to the LRTP Advisory Committee members on their May 28 meeting, and this inventory was approved. So the next step for the plan is firstly to develop a vision, goals, and objectives. So the vision statement will describe Richmond Region's transportation aspirations in a concise manner and provide a foundation for all other aspects of the plan. The goal will describe a series of desired end states for the region's transportation system, which would be informed by the vision, and the goal will also provide foundation for the objectives. Finally, the objectives will describe specific measurable statements that support the achievement of the goal. The other part parallelly will be working on the conversion of the issues as identified in phase 1 to convert them into transportation projects. Just wanted to clarify that an issue or a need is not a transportation project, and the issue or need can be addressed by different types of projects and strategies. Sometimes a need in one location can also be solved by doing improvements in other location. The other thing is some of the capacity related issues and needs were based on desktop engineering analysis for phase 1. Factors like the availability of right-of-way, relocating of utilities, or political will of the locality to move forward with the project was not considered in the issue identification phase. All these factors would be considered when we convert those issues into transportation projects. That's all I have for today. Please visit our website www.ConnectRVA2045. We have a ton of information in that website. If you have any other specific questions, please don't hesitate to contact myself, Sulabh Ariel, srl@planrva.org, or our Director of Transportation, Chet Parsons, cparsons@planrva.org. Thank you.